Oh, okay. All right, so
Curse all you fucking want.
all right.
Shit, fuck, shit.
So with the Marine Corps, like I said, you have F-18s who do multi-role, right? And then you have those are VMFAs, and then you have VMAs, which are attack only, and those are typically done by the Harriers now with F-35Bs. So how does it work with the RAF? Is it split like that with Typhoons servicing, full counter air, and then the F-35s performing the ground role, or how do you guys work it?
That's how we pretty much we are kind of.
It's how we work it, but both jets have completely different abilities, should we say?
Right.
So we fly the jets
I know
to their ability.
Typhoons are pretty limited air to ground. That's why I was kind of curious how you guys do it.
Well, real world they're not. They're a bit more limited in the sim, but we've got full laser capability, then GPS capability at the moment in the sim.
Yeah, Dino's Typhoon and Dino's Typhoons minus the HARMS missiles, which we're having issues with at the moment. We pretty much have the same range of air-to-ground ordnance. That's what we use in the F-35s.
Okay, so what are your mission profiles as far as each airframe? I mean, are you guys just mixing it all up, or do you have specific missions?
So F-35 we're using for carrier ops, short range air-to-ground attack, and close air support. We do train in air-to-air combat because it has the ability, but we train it. It's more for self-defense purposes than offense purposes. Then the Typhoon is sort of the long-range interceptor, fighter, combat air patrols with precision strike capability.
Yeah, I saw one of your intercepted missions with the Typhoon. That was pretty awesome. Where you intercepted the I don't even know what time it was. I just watched it for a little bit. But you intercepted the Russian tankers.
Yeah. One sec, back in a sec.
But yeah, I was just curious because I'm honestly more air-to-ground guy. I'm not a huge air-to-air dude, so that's why I was curious.
To be fair, we tend to do a lot of air-to-ground, if anything, ourselves. We do, do a bit of air-to-air every now and again, but yeah, it doesn't happen so far in between. Maybe, it'd be one of those we do an air-to-ground, and then on the way back, normally Matt's the instigator of starting it. Normally then we'd start like a little air-to-air dogfight.
Yeah, you get jumped on the way home. I got you.
Yeah, there's my one little word of advice while Matt's not here. When you're flying with Matt, just do not let him sit behind you.
Fuck off.
Now, do you guys, for air-to-ground, especially when it comes to CAS, are you using all NATO standard or what?
Don't expect military comms. A lot of the guys on here do it just for fun. So we don't enforce a high standard of communication, put it that way. But if you read the whatever's in the SOPs, that is the standard we fly to. So the general circuit calls and carrier calls and stuff like that.
Okay, what about for CAS though? If you're doing CAS, I mean, are you guys having one person, I guess, role playing as someone on the ground calling you?
Yeah, it'll usually be. Yeah, we do that. A lot of it's pre-arranged, and we launch. So someone will create a CCP mission, for instance. It'll be briefed that we're on sort of CAS alert, and we'll just be waiting. Only that person will know where the targets are and stuff, and it'll just be role played like that.
Okay, cool.
So it'll be the same we do for QRA. There'll be a person who's designed it. Obviously, they'll know what's going on. They'll role play as the main control, and we'll go from there. We'll be launched QRA.
Okay, sweet. Sounds good.
I mean, we did have it a few weeks ago, Matt, didn't we? Where we had about 5-6 of us on.
Yeah.
And we had Nigel acting as.
That's probably the one he's watched. If you've watched it recently, it's probably the one you watched from Norway.
Yeah, I think that might be.
Yeah, it's probably that one.
Yeah, you guys, I love your videos. I've watched
a
couple of them.
See, I stream all my flights and then upload them, so sometimes you'll get the boring as hell flights. But if you pick the ones that have got fighters and got a description that's interesting, you usually hit something. Just rolling.
Well, I can say I do have a lot of real life experience with CAS, so I'm your guy if you ever got questions on any of that kind of stuff, because being a ground pounder, I've done a lot of work with air and artillery, everything else, so I can throw that out there to help people.
Okay, yeah, that might be something we look at using you for the lingo.
Yeah, well, I do know, obviously, when I guys in the Marine Corps, a lot of the jargon and everything else is going to be a lot different, but I can at least help with some of the basics and, you know, even getting an SOP if you guys want to do something like that. I love that kind of stuff, so cool.
Okay.
That'd be very nice, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Departing Minad on route Akatiri on my way home.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever had any RAF on station. I've had Belgians. That was pretty interesting.
Where about?
In Afghanistan, in Helmand. We were like 40 miles from Bastion in Marja.
Don't know, probably not.
No, actually, I take that back. I don't think it's RAF. Whoever runs your surgical CH-46s.
Oh no,
yeah, we work with them a lot.
CH-46s.
Yeah. Surgical birds. That's all we knew them as. We didn't know any numbers.
Do you mean Chinooks?
Yeah, Chinooks. Yeah.
Oh, we don't call them 46s. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is the RAF. That's the RAF. Mert.
Yeah, solid cats, man. They're pretty awesome. But I don't think we ever had any close air support from RAF. I know one of my buddies from a sister battalion, they had Apaches.
Yeah.
And they were pretty solid as well. But as far as fixed wing, I think Belgians is which is so weird. We had Belgians on station. And of course, usual Navy and Marine Corps.
How many tours did you do, if you don't mind me asking, Stefan?
Well, I had a special pipeline for enlistment, so I went through Fleet Anti-Terror, so I was a specialist unit. So I did that for 2.5 years, and then 2.5 years I went to the infantry, so I only got one Afghan deployment. And that was 2010. But with the Fleet Anti-Terror, it was zero combat because we were basically a embassy support and rapid response unit. But we did two separate deployments, and then one of those deployments you get forward deployed, called a FDP. So I've been all over the Middle East with fast, but only one combat deployment to Afghanistan.
Well, no, my even though I'm not wearing a hat, my hat's off to you. It's certainly something that I wouldn't want to experience, that's for sure.
It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I find it's fun at airsofts because when you get shot, you know you're gonna like survive.
Yeah, we used to train with something. It's kind of like airsoft called Sesams. They're paint rounds, 9mm paint rounds. That was always a lot of fun.
It's paintball with real bullets, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And they fucking hurt. They hurt worse than regular paintball, I think. So in FAST, we had to do a lot of CQB for rapid response. So that's what we did in the shoot houses. Is we used all the Sesams in the shoot houses. So you get smoked from like 5 feet. Someone hit your arm or your leg off of your gear. That would hurt for quite a while.
Matty sounds like someone we could have with us on airsofts.
Yeah, shame is the other side of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys probably, British military probably uses something like them. They're actual real rounds. They're 9mm bullets. I mean, they're not like any kind of paintball or airsoft. They're actual real stuff.
Yeah, I have never really had any military background, so I couldn't comment.
Sorry, I had to shout to the wife for a sec. What did you say before?
I was just saying that the Sesame rounds, they're real rounds.
Oh yeah,
rounds.
The army use them, I know that.
Oh yeah, see? I figured you guys probably would. You, Matt, you're RAF, what do you do?
What's it called in America? I know what it's. Hang on. I'm a mover. Have you ever heard of what a mover is?
A mover. No.
Let me have a look. I know they're called something in the States.
I mean, are you enlisted or are you officer or what?
Enlisted, I guess, is what you'd call it.
Yeah, not an officer.
Yeah,
You're
not
a
an
warrant
officer.
Yeah, okay. Trying to think mover. Like cargo master or something?
Hang on. I'm trying to find what it's called. Because I've had a few. I just can't remember what they're bloody called in your side. Not on the back of the planes. You load the planes, but your guys, I think they have individual jobs, whereas we do it all start to finish. So, well, everything from preparation of cargo and packs for flight, so check-in, manifesting, building to pallets, all the way up to the point that it goes on the back of the aircraft. We put it on the aircraft, and that's our job done. So, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay, so you're not actually on flights.
No.
You're loading up for flights. Yeah, see, well, for the Marine Corps, it's kind of funny you mentioned that. For the Marine Corps, I went to school for what's called Embark, and that's exactly what it is when I was with Fleet Anti-Terror. But there's an actual job. They're called red patches in the Marine Corps. I don't know what they are in the Air Force, but yeah, I know what you do. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I did for a bit. I did helicopter support, so we were managing helicopter landing sites and underslungs and internal loads for helicopters. So it's a different side of it, but yeah.
That's cool.
Probably my least favourite time in the Air Force, but my favourite job in the Air
Force. Are you still in?
Yeah.
Are you still doing? Oh, okay. That's cool.
We had a very funny moment not last year, the year before. Me and Matt went to Riyadh Air Show at RAF Airfoots, and we was going to one of the A400s, and Matt was showing me around the aircraft and explaining me how he does things and stuff like that. And there was a female flight lieutenant, and Matt went up to her and said, "Hello, Mum," and I think she overheard us talking about him being a mover, and she goes, "Oh Christ, those fecking movers, always forever losing my luggage." And Matt just replies, "So, what's your name, Mum?" He goes, and she goes, "Why is that?" He goes, "Because I'm a mover." And her face just kind of like drops and like, "Oh shit."
Have fun finding your bags next time you go, anyway.
Yeah, really. Yeah, see, when I was with FAST, we didn't have any kind of we were all organic units. So we didn't have exterior units we work with, so we'd have to get trained in different stuff like Embark and everything. So if we were to do that, we would lose our own gear. But it's cool though, because when you're
we don't do that really though.
Yeah, I know. I get you. I got you. No worries. I know how it works. So I saw I think I could be wrong, so if I am, apologize. But as far as operations, so we do logistical movements, and then moving, I guess you'd call tactical assets and getting them set up for operations, and then carry out operations, and then RTB, back, logistics, everything like that. So how often these operations run?
Probably 3 a year, for 2 months at a time.
Okay, cool.
But it's a month logistics and deployment, 2-month deployment, then a month back. So
okay.
It's around about a 4-month cycle. We came back just before Christmas from Norway. Nigel's in the pipeline of planning something for us to do in the UK, so it might be that we'll stick around in the UK for a bit. Try and soak up some training, because now we've got quite a few people who are only trained on sort of one asset, or none at the moment. So we want to get people useful before we deploy again.
Right, makes sense.
But I've seen the Fsx at War campaign for Afghanistan, so I may use that. We go Nilis every year for some desert ops. That's quite interesting. Main problem with deployment is getting there and getting back. Once we're there, it's easy to jump on and get in a jet, but it's getting everything there and getting everything back. But the more pilots we've got, obviously the quicker that gets done. So the more people that can fly logistics. So we usually try and get people trained on their fast jet asset. So for you, I'm assuming it's going to be F-35 first. So we'll get you sorted on that, and then look to you do 20 hours. Once you've got 20 hours operation on that, I'll try and push you to do a logistics frame.
Sweet, works for me.
And then after that, I'm not really bothered. You can choose. Ideally, everyone's to be trained on everything. I think at the minute we've maybe got 4 of us that have got all aircraft tick.
All right.
But everyone's, yeah, you can fly what you want. If you don't want to do logistics, then I don't force people to. But it's helpful to have people that can do logistics.
Yeah, I definitely would. Like I said, it's just a matter of training. You know.
Another thing to note, because it might catch you out, you'll have seen on the spreadsheet like maintenance status.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So it's very basic how the maintenance is deducted from your aircraft, the maintenance state. It's all to do with your final landing rate. The heavier it is, the more percentage it will take off the aircraft.
Okay. So is that calculated by like number of landings plus the weight, or is it just the weight alone?
It's the impact force, basically. Your descent rate on touchdown. I think it takes into account hours and your weight, but it doesn't affect it anywhere near as much as the touchdown force.
So what do you do for the maintenance aspect? Is it just a matter of spending money?
So the maintenance side of it, I can now, we've just recently sorted out the code so that OCs have access to adjust the maintenance of an aircraft. So I can reset them myself. And if you look on the ops page, you'll see that there's 2 unserviceable at the minute, and they've got a return to service date. And then if you look below that, you'll see that how the maintenance is performed. So standard maintenance would be performed at 10% per day for 3 days minimum. I always go up to 100%. So if something's on 30%, it'll get 7 days maintenance. And that's basically putting it out of action. It's out of use for those days. Operational maintenance is twice as quick for obvious reasons. Hard landing maintenance is 5-day minimum. And that's if someone lands over 1,000 feet per minute.
Okay.
And that aircraft will go into instant maintenance.
Back off.
1,000 feet per minute, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Right, back in a minute. I've got to have dinner, so I'll chat to you if you're still here. If not, then I'll talk to you again.
Okay, cool. Are you still here, Stephen? Or are you heading out too?
No, I'm still here myself. I'm just having issues trying to connect to the server myself, actually.
Okay. So are airframes assigned to individual pilots, or is it just what's available?
No, it's just literally what's available, as long as it's not being flown and it's at the right location. It's the one thing we don't do at MASS is have, transportation of aircraft. Happy for people to do a transport. So say, for example, if you did a logistics in the morning from the UK to the US somewhere, and you finished that flight and we were about to depart from the UK to take some typhoons out, for example, you could then jump in a typhoon that's in the UK and fly with us. You just can't teleport the aircraft, so to speak.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's something new for me. I never fly in the UK. I just haven't. So all the airports are going to be new for me.
That's fine. It's fair enough. It's kind of like the same for me. I've just recently started expanding, started doing long haul flying again. So I'm starting to now reach into the US, and I'm just at the moment I'm trying to stay away from the VATSIM environment. I don't want to try and get complicated with ATC at the moment. I'm just trying to kind of get an idea how the US works, and I've got all the charts and stuff like that. So just learning how the charts are with the transitions and stuff. I understand that. Once I get a bit more comfortable, then I'll start hopefully then going back online with some ATC. It's always fun with a bit of ATC.
Yeah, that's something I'm still pretty rusty on, to be honest. The whole dealing with ATC. See, when we flew, I used to fly DCS all the time.
Oh yes.
So we didn't really have a dedicated ATC. So our squadron commander basically took over duties for like the most basic tasks. And since, the maps are kind of isolated in one spot, around Nellis or Georgia, there's really no need for transferring airspaces or doing anything like that, So we never worked on it. So I'm pretty rusty on that.
See, it's always down to the background. Like for me, my aviation love kind of all started from the civilian side of things anyway.
Yeah, see, I'm coming the
path of
opposite.
Heathrow.
I'm coming the opposite direction.
Yeah. So for me, I always kind of did have a love of the fast jets and stuff like that. And I used to have like a game called Jane, I can't always remember her surname, but Fighter Scientology 2. But
Yeah,
it was real
Jane.
basic, and every time I tried to go into the hard level, I would always get, completely smashed out the face. So, but then I met Matt through our current Jet VA, EasyJet Virtual, basically. And it was one evening, I think we were designed to fly some civvy flying, and he was like, I don't fancy it, I think we'll join my military. And I was like, what, you fly military? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, I said, I know I'm not joined with her. I said, do you mind if I just tag along and have a look what you guys do and stuff like that? And yeah, done it with him and kind of intrigued me. At first I didn't like it because, I think, there's a lot more hand flying involved, a lot more kind of, especially when you're formation flying, looking what the pilot's doing, looking back what your aircraft's doing, looking back, see what your formation's like, air-to-air refueling. That took me ages to get a hang on. Then the ideas of, learning how to bring your aircraft, be in the right profile for dropping bombs, the right parameters, etc., etc. But the more I learned and picked it up, by just building up the hours, I love it. It's good fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, there's a heavier workload in military flying, but
oh yes, for sure.
Then again, coming from military side over to civilian side, it almost seems the opposite for me. I guess because a lot of the stuff, the workload comes second nature to me already from the military side. Doing all the civilian stuff, it's like, shit, I got more stuff I got to do now.
I know, of course it is, because like we've got a member with us, Stephen, got another Stephen as well, and he's kind of like trying to get in with me and Matt flying online with VATSIM with ATC, and he's kind of new to it, and he's kind of like a bit reluctant to kind of like go on there. And it's like, look, mate, end of the day, I started out as as a kid for the first time on VATSIM, and I was panicked. And at the end of the day, as long as you've got the right air arc, which gives you all the right database for the routes and all the airways around the world is all correct, and you've got an up-to-date charts package, which you can get from Navigraph, which gives you all the right approaches to SIDS, to stars and stuff like that, all the taxi rates for the airports. If you've got all that information in front of you, there's nothing you can't throw at you that you can't surprise you, sort of thing. Everything you got is there and valid, rather than being 2 years out of date. Because if you're flying with something that's 2 years out of date, of course they're going to tell you something you don't understand, because 2 years time the whole airways have changed around the world about 5 times most likely.
Right.
So and like I say to them, a lot of it is down, now I've been doing it for years myself, a lot of it's down is that they just tell you to do something and you just basically repeat what they say to you and just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It is not that bad at all. Like I said, if you got the right, I'm sure you get the rough gist of it, sort of, because although you don't physically have to stick to a flight plan like you do with civilian airliners and whatnot, you still have procedures like how to join a circuit to an airport to land and whatnot. It's similar, but yeah, there is a difference.
Yeah, that's something I doubt what I know is going to apply for you guys, like doing carrier breaks, because that's something like my old squadron, we didn't even, the only patterns we learned, carrier breaks, deep penetration, and that's it. That's all we used.
We know how to do
always.
that. Oh, but not that kind.
What, as far as breaks or penetration?
Deep penetration. I know how to do that.
It's
Matt knows
amazing.
how to do
It's
that very
fun.
well.
Hang on, are we
It's fun.
talking? Are we talking aviation? I was talking personal.
No, we was talking about aviation. We was talking about the differences between, the civilian side of flying and the military side of flying.
Ah, cool. Right, I'm in the cruise. I'm gonna eat my dinner. Talk to you if I'm back when you're still here.
All right, man. But yeah, like I don't know. It's new to me. It's gonna be new. So that's cool though. Always easy to learn.
Well, if you ever do consider doing the civilian side of things, you've got two good people here, and Matt and myself. The luxury of the Airbus, the Aerosoft Airbus, we can do a thing called a connected flight deck. So, you can actually have a two-man crew flying the Airbus.
Oh, nice.
So it's pretty nice, you could actually literally have someone in the cockpit with you, and if you're trying to point out something and say, I can't see it, you just say, like, look at the center console, see that flick switching? Yep, that's the one, flick that.
Nice. See, if you would have asked me like a year ago about general aviation, I would have like held my nose and turned away. No thanks. But I've got into it more and more. But as far as like the airliners and stuff, that's beyond me. So that's why I'm pretty interested for you guys to train me on some of the bigger aircraft, because doing it by myself, I don't know if I would have the interest to continue to do it by myself. But it's now something I'm interested in doing besides just blowing shit up all the time. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, of course. The only issue is though is that when you I don't know if Max explained to you, I've just before I started my first day back at work today, I've just done a 6-day round the world tour flying the KC-30 on a kind of like going on an AIDS mission for the politicians, taking them around the world.
Nice.
So I've just done one flight per day. My first flight was Heathrow to Beijing, which was a 12-hour flight. Then the next day I did Beijing to Sydney, was just over 11 hours. Then from Sydney, so it was Canberra, which is just west of Sydney, so it's not too far away. Then from Canberra to Christchurch in New Zealand, that was about a 4-hour flight, so that's luxury compared to 12. Then from New Zealand I had to fly to Honolulu, so that was another 12-hour flight. Then from Honolulu to San Diego, and then yesterday I did San Diego back to Heathrow, which was exactly 10 hours. And I love flying, and like I said, from the civil side of flying, I'm used to taking off, sitting on autopilot, coming to land, touchdown, done.
Yeah.
I could do 10 hours of flying, but like doing European hops, so I do 4 or 5 flights in those 10 hours, not taking off like one of the good parts of flying, sitting in the most boring part for 9 hours, and then coming into land, and like your landing's not that great because you're tired and bored out your face. But
so do you come up with missions like that, or is that squadron comes up with it and you just gets assigned, or how does that work?
It's just what Matt tends to do is that when we're not deployed on ops, so to speak, when we're stuck in the UK, he kind of like simulate flights, for example, like flying out to the Falklands Islands to do supply runs and stuff like that. And come back and then do flights to Cyprus, Gibraltar, just like flights like that, so someone can take a KC-30 or C17, for example, do a couple of hour flight to do logistics tasking type of thing. But if we're on ops, so to speak, then that doesn't really generally happen, because obviously our airframes are more concentrated to our operations and keeping us supplied with ammo and supplies, etc.
Right. Okay, that's cool. I was just curious because I could probably think of like a million different operations like that.
Oh yeah, of course, but it's just I just let Matt and Nigel dream them up, and I just tag along if it takes my interest. And
Nice.
Anyway, it wasn't my interest to do a round the world tour in 6 days. I was happy to do like 1 or 2 legs, but Matt kind of like made it as a challenge for me. He goes, "Oh, Steve, you can do that by the time you go back to work." And I was like, "Is that a challenge?" He goes, "Yes." I said, "Challenge accepted."
Nice.
But when I finished yesterday, I was just like, "Oh, do you know what? I don't fancy doing anything longer than a 2-hour flight for the next 4 weeks now."
Yeah, that's a lot of flying. I play, like I said, air hauler at times just to have something to do for general aviation, and some of those flights, even 4 or 5 hours, and some of the smaller general aviation aircraft, is like, fuck, that's a long time. That's a lot of flying.
And, especially as well, they're slow as hell. I mean, I noticed it yesterday from doing San Diego to Heathrow. It took me nearly 5.5 hours just to cross, pretty much the whole of the United States and Canada before I could see the North Atlantic. And I was thinking to myself, hang on, when we was flying the Typhoons back from Nellis, which is not quite on the coast, the west coast, but it's not exactly a million miles away.
It's out there on the west coast. It might as well be.
we was at 40,000 feet, super cruising, Mach 1.2, super cruising in a Typhoon, and it took less than 3 to cross the US, and at that point we was just only about to take our first air-to-air refuel as well.
Yeah, see, I'm used to the flying a Skymaster or the DO-228 in air hauler, which if you hit 170 knots, you're making it. You're flying fast in those things. So going from my locations in Florida up to Kansas, that's 3 or 4 hours right there at 150 knots. So it'll be definitely interesting and new with some of the bigger aircraft.
But see, that was the one thing that I remember appreciating when I haven't got my pilot's license, but back when I was 15 and I started doing some hours towards my PPL. And, I even just appreciated on my first day, I was taking off from a little aerodrome just kind of northwest from Heathrow. And as you take off, if you're taking off to the rest, you literally climb over a golf course and you're straight over the M25, which is one of the busiest motorways in the UK, and it runs right around London, and its nickname in the UK is the orbital car park because the constant traffic jams and everything. Yeah. And the one thing that I appreciated, even just in the little baby Piper Cadet, is when I'm taking off and I'm doing 85 knots in the takeoff climb, flying over the M25, it's chock-a-block with everyone trying to get to Heathrow Airport. I'm thinking to myself, the speed limit for the motorway is 70 miles an hour. I'm doing 70 miles an hour on my takeoff climb. Haha. And we all start swearing to all the cars down below, thinking, haha, suckers.
Yeah, that's something I want to do is get my private pilot's license. Just time, man. Finding the time and cash. The money. Yeah, the money. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because even for this, I've got a lot of free time here and there, and then other times I'm so busy with school, I don't have time for anything.
Oh yeah.
But I can make the minimums, and probably far past the minimums, depending. If I can't sleep, I fly. So. Put 4 or 5 hours in at 2 a.m.
And even when I am sleeping, I'm probably dreaming about flying anyway.
Yeah, I feel you. That's why it's so weird. I went to a ground roll in the military and always dreamed of flying, but a lot of stuff got in the way and I didn't do it. Now I kick myself in the ass because I wish I would have. Even support flying, for the Marine Corps, that would have been amazing. Not even fast jets, but, the Ospreys or even the KC-135s would have been sweet.
Yeah, because the one thing that I have noticed, like I was growing up as well, is in what we have in the UK, kind of like what's called the Air Cadets. So it's kind of like a kids kind of build up towards the Royal Air Force. So you wear all the uniforms and have to salute and everything like that. And, you had the opportunities to go to ranges and shoot the .22 or the cadet version of the SAAT, which was just a single shot rifle.
Yeah.
But we got to then during summer go to the camps, went to RF Cottlesmore, to the base of Squadron 1, 4 and 6 at the time, if I remember correctly. So we got there, got to see the pilots, got to sit in the aircraft, got to chat with them. And the one thing is I used to bring up, because again it was during the time when I was doing my flying, my PPL, so I'd be talking to the pilots. And we're at the moment I'm doing my flying lessons, I'm doing my PPL and stuff like that. And pilots, just get along with pilots, because I have a lot of friends and I could talk about planes for hours, but a lot of them you could just sit there and they're just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Stephen.
Yeah.
But when you talk to other pilots, they understand. Do you know what I mean? You're talking to someone that actually appreciates and understands what you're talking about, and they talk about tips and stuff like, you should do this, how you doing flying this, because they were just kid once, they were going through their PPL and whatnot. So it's kind of like for them, they're having to live back to the days when they had these same dreams that we had, or as I had when I was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I always found they always had all the time in the world for you. Like I was very fortunate as well in my air cadets. My commanding officer and one of our civilian instructors was air traffic controller at Heathrow. And in secondary school, which is kind of like the US version of high school, in your later years you have to do what's called work experience. And anyway, I didn't think hope in hell it was ever going to happen, but I thought, you don't know if you don't ask. So after one of our parade days, I went up to my commanding officer and I said to him, sorry sir, I said, it might be a bit of a random question. I said I never take it personally if it's the case you can't help me in this situation. But I said, I've got my 2 weeks work experience coming up. I said, you know what I'm like with my planes? And he's like, yep, God, we know what you're like, O'Connell. And I was like, yep, big smile on my face. I said, anyway, I said, is there any chance I could spend 2 weeks at Heathrow Air Traffic Control and, see it from the other point of view in aviation? I've always wanted to be the pilot's aspect. It'd be nice to actually see the other side of the fence and see what they do. And straight away he come up, he goes, do you know what, Steve? O'Connell, he goes, oh, more than happy to do that for you. And I was like, really? He goes, yep. He goes, give me the paperwork and stuff like that. He goes, I'll get that sorted out for you. And I was like, wow, I did not expect that to happen, but
that's pretty awesome.
It was probably best 2 weeks of my life, I would ever say, to be fair.
Yeah, I can imagine. That'd be pretty cool.
It was really good experience. It's nothing like what the films portray air traffic controllers to be. It was so calm and relaxed, even though they've got planes going out every 60 seconds and whatnot. And what started my love for aviation was Concords.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think by like the end of the second day, I think everyone in that air traffic controller knew what I was like about Concords. And so, but what amazed me though was that how every time whether she was landing or arriving or departing, the whole airport would stop for her to watch her land or take off. It was just like crazy feeling to feel and experience. And like as soon as she departs or she's arrived, everything's back to normal, and it's just a normal airport with normal airliners. And anyway, on my last day, I got the very lucky, fortunate experience of actually being able to go on the radios and land a few aircraft on 27 left, departing aircrafts on the 27 rights. And as soon as it was coming to 10:30, there you go, Steve, you can go to delivery clearance now. And straight away I knew exactly what they're now giving me to do. Concorde's doing her 11 o'clock departure for JFK, of course, isn't she? So there you go. You're going to be getting a call anytime soon now from Speedboat Concorde 1. And there it was. Heathrow delivery, good morning to you. Speedboat Concorde 1 is at stand 424 with information Bravo. Request IFR clearance to Kennedy. And I was like, yep, Speedboat Concorde 1 cleared to John F. Kennedy as filed. Compton 3 Tango departure runway 27 left. Initial departure 6,000 feet. Local QNH is 1012. And your squawk code is, I can't remember the squawk codes. And the guy replied back, he instantly laughed because I think he could understand, you got this little fucking girly voiced teenager on the radios giving him a clearance. And so he read it back to me and I was like, yep, Speedboat Concorde 1, read back correct, contact ground 121.7 when you're ready for push and start. As soon as that's done, they then get to be over to ground. So then he's then called up ground, and then I've given him his push and start clearance. I've given him his taxi clearance to runway 27 left, handed him over to tower, and they're like, yep, there you go, Steve, back to tower now. They literally threw me all around the tower and gave her all her clearances out to departure. And that was just an awesome day for me.
Still having issues connecting, Steve?
Yeah, I am to today. I mean, I know
What issue?
I've had to update the servers a couple of times.
I'm on UTC. I think. Hang on, am I?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That's the one I've been trying to connect to.
What's the issue? 86% issue?
Yes.
Strange. Try -10, I guess.
User joined your channel.
Evening.
Right.
Howdy.
What are you up to, Stephen? You back from work yet?
Yeah, of course I'm back from work. My first day back today.
The joys. If only we didn't have to work, eh?
I mean, it was weird. I was kind of glad to be going back to work, but then at the same time, it's kind of like it's not. You know, I'm kind of like glad because I needed to do something. I was starting to get insanely bored just sitting on my computer. But
User in your channel timed out.
it's just one of those that you just wish that you had, you know, won a nice bit of money over the holiday seasons where you could be like, you know, look, come in, boys, thank you. Just handed my my notice of resignation with immediate effects. You know, happy New Year, guys, and see you later. And get the first flight out to Arizona.
The fuck are you on about?
Well, if I win large sums of money, I ain't fucking sitting around here. I'm gonna go out and get my fucking pilot's license.
Take us with you. I'll pay you back in instalments.
Yeah? Matt, you in?
Yeah, I'm in, but I won't pay you back, so yeah.
Doesn't bother me. I'll probably make it back in the interest in about a year anyway, so.
I've got to install the T6 and all that again. I haven't done it since
Okay.
reinstalling my Fsx. But I was just looking at that now.
Alright. Yeah, I'm just doing logistics, to be honest. I didn't fancy anything involving.
Yeah, I'm just taking the 3:30 back to Bryce from Heathrow. So literally not a hugely long flight for me.
Keep you busy though for a little while.
I'll spend more time prepping than I actually would be flying.
It's not our fault, you shit.
No, it's just
Alright.
long process loading up the aircraft. Well, not so much that, it's the fucking flight plan that takes ages.
Yeah. I've got 12 people, by the way, for my party.
Cool.
Looking at asking him. I've got to ask him about this bloody £100 he wants. Because I don't know what we're paying for. Because it's not a day that he's open anyway, so it's a day that he's making extra money. And he's charging everyone normal game fees anyway, so I don't see why we have to pay £100 on top of that. Especially if we're going to marshal ourselves.
Yeah. Don't know. Or maybe it's someone's rage or something to be there and to open up or whatnot.
He's doing it. But even so, that's what the game fee's for.
I don't know, mate.
Waiting for this Elliot Cross to add me on Facebook. So I can add him to the group. Remember, I think most pilots we've ever had is about 12 at once. So we're nearly there again.
Yep, it's good, man. It's nice to see.
So hopefully it's 12 to fly.
Well, not just that, it just shows you the power of YouTube as well. Look how many of our recent members have all come from watching your vids on YouTube.
We should all stream.
Oh, yeah.
I want more green on my spreadsheet, on my training sheet.
More green.
Yeah, I want more
He wants
green.
everybody trained on Niflet.
To be honest,
Just what?
if you want to do the A400, mate, what do you need to know? Is there anything you don't know how to get it going?
No, I know how to get it up and going and flying it about.
So is there any training you actually need?
No, not that I know of. It
You
would
know-
have just been running for anything, in case I do miss anything.
Okay.
But I've done a few flights of my own.
Well, that means your cockpit FAM and general handling's already done, so hang on. Route planning you can do, short field and tactical landing is all you got to do.
Okay.
But let's be honest, everyone knows how to do them. You're either coming in steep or coming in shallow and slow.
Yeah.
You're on pirate
Or
monitoring.
leave it for Stephen because he's run out of fuel.
I'm good at that.
You've been bingo, I'm only kidding.
You're on pirate monitoring, Steve.
Okay, cheers, mate.
Let me know when you're confident, and if you got any questions, just ask anyone who's qualified, or just ask in the group.
Yeah, okay, I will do.
There's no point in training you when you can fly everything else, which includes another Airbus.
They're all pretty similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not too sure if I'm going to have time for this. I've got to be off about 9:30.
Alright, don't worry about it then. If you can't do it, you can't do it. I don't know what he's doing, so I just didn't know if he was free or not. He's back.
User joined your channel.
All right, gents. I think I'm back.
Hey, you're right.
Welcome back. Now this is where it gets confusing because here's the other Steve, or Stephen, sorry, should I say?
Yeah, I see that.
Steve, Stephen, and Stefan.
Got it all covered, man.
It must just be a good name.
Do y'all go by call signs or something different?
When we're
yeah,
flying,
we all have
yeah.
our call signs.
I mean, that and normal to differentiate between the Stevens.
Okay, well I'm over bank.
And
Alright.
I'm Bingo.
I suffered my misfortune back in Nellis when I first few months of Mac with a really bad computer, trying to do a running formation, run and break, and
I'll get the video.
yeah, over banks and crash and burns.
It's on my remember list. It's like the only one on there.
Oh, I'll have to have a look at that. I've not seen that.
Oh, let's get it up. One moment.
Okay, so y'all do the call sign assignments. There's no picking of call signs.
Oh no, you have to
You
be
gotta give 'em
assigned. And it normally I think with us, it's all down to misfortune call signs.
Yeah.
It's not a good call sign.
It's in
You're
the
doing good.
ops
you
room
just
link.
don't gain a call sign.
Nice. Okay.
So
Yeah.
you do everything right. You ain't going to get a call sign.
But
Damn.
if you mean like flying call signs and stuff, We don't go via those anyway. We use, depending what airframe you're flying, and then your number. So for instance, at the minute, I'm Ascot 01.
Alright, cool.
Have a look at that link. I'll tell you where to go to. Unless you know the spot in it. Somewhere on
Which
the brain.
one?
Alright.
Who are you referring to as Steve now?
Hang on. Shh. Trying to find you fucking up.
Dot. Can't be that difficult, surely.
Go to...
Still wrong.
Still on the approach there. Go to about 57 minutes, I think. When we're on the first approach.
Alright.
Yeah, 57 minutes. It's just a bit after that, I think.
Alright.
Okay, I'm watching.
Oh, maybe it's 58. Hang on. Go forward another minute. Oh, there we go. Go 58. That's the first run and break. It's the comments as well. They're funny. What was as we're speaking. Oh dear. Yeah, that's how he earned his nickname.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing I've watched, I think.
And he's never lived it down and never will.
Yeah, but I haven't done it ever again, though, have I?
No, you haven't. You don't dare.
But how many times have you bombed yourself, Matt?
Once. Or
No,
twice.
I will
Have
call
you
it
got
at
video?
least 3
Where's your
times
proof?
You dud yourself, mate.
Sorry, where's your proof?
Probably on your video somewhere.
Till proof is presented to the jury.
Well, the proof's there because you've your nickname Dud says it all.
No, that's for another reason.
No.
Firing blanks.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I just now saw that. That's awesome.
And then yes.
If you need me, I'm on my phone.
Your name says it all.
Taking the headset off. Oh my
Yeah,
god, I got 100 knot headwind. It's gonna take forever.
Got it. Karma bitch.
Let me know what happens. What you get up to.
Think about it.
Alright, I gotta finish installing Orbix and then jump in and start doing key assignments and everything, and then hopefully, if I can get all that knocked out, maybe I can be ready for the flight today, for whichever Steven needs me to fly.
I'm probably not going to be able to do it. I've got to be off in about an hour.
Okay.
If no one can do it and you're around in about 3 hours time, I can do it.
Okay. Yeah, I can't say specifically because Orbix just crashed my computer, so we'll see how long it takes to install and then me to get in there. What all do I need to do for the flight?
All it is a basic skills check in the T6 at our training base.
In the T6?
Yeah.
Oh, don't have that. Where do I get that?
I'll send you a link.
Okay, don't ever think I've never even flown that. I'll do my best.
Good. It's easy. It's all it is a basic skills check. It's nothing great.
So what, just take off, fly around, land?
Just about. A little bit more
All
than
right.
that, but yeah.
Okay, cool. do what I can.
Cool. Let me know if you want me to do it.
All right. Yeah, let me see if this installed before it crashed, and then go map everything, and then that should be good, I think.
Okay.
I have to say I've watched that 3 times now, and it's still as funny as it was the first time.
Ha ha ha. I was new to fast jets and everything, so. And yeah, 4 frames per second over Nellis.
Yeah, I've very nearly done the same there anyway. Was it there? I think it was. What server are you going to be flying on, OB?
I'm on the UTC server.
Are you on already, yeah?
Yeah. Get myself set up just to bring it back to Surprise, and that's it. I'm done with it.
Kind of surprised y'all don't use a Hawk for a trainer. Thought that was like the RAF mainstay.
We did briefly, but I think Matt come to the conclusion that it just wasn't really worthwhile doing that. You know, if we're going to be doing fast jet training, then might as well just actually learn on the jet itself. You know, rather than having to spend time on the Hawk and then go through then the F-35. So you basically learn the aircraft and practice flying it at the same time, really.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you use the T6 for? Just for check rides like this?
The T6 not necessarily a aircraft of ours. It's just mainly this skills check that applies for anyone joining the Mil-Sim organisation. It's not only us, the other squadrons, I believe. Well, some of them do, some of them don't. You know, go through the T6 skill check before they put them on squadrons. Matt still applies that himself.
Oh, okay.
Are you flying yourself at the moment, Stephen?
Yeah, just booting up a little guy. Was going to come and see if I could see you.
Well, I'm just about to push back now. I've got a short taxi departing runway 27 left. Be departing, climbing out northwest to Auburn, hit the SID there, then turn to Daventry, and from there arrive over Brize Norton, do the VOR approach into runway 25.
Yeah, okay, I'm just taxiing out now.
That's got freeze pushing back now. Where are you coming from, Stephen? Conisby?
Yeah, coming from Coningsby.
Okay.
Just overflying Coningsby now.
User entered your channel. User left your channel. You were moved. User joined your channel.
Matthew.
What?
How long your flight's going to be, just for Stefan's reference? He's pretty much set up ready to fly.
I've got about 2 hours left.
Okay. I shall let him know.
Okay.
Ciao for now.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
Hey, Matt.
Hello.
He said 2 hours.
Yeah, about
All right, cool. I'm gonna go hop off and eat, and I'll be back.
that. Okay, see you in a bit.
All right, laters.
User disconnected from your channel. User in your channel timed out.